A few weeks ago, Colin from the Kineticist reached out to me, and he's putting together something, and he's asking for a handful of content creators to let everyone know what their current top 5 pinball machines are and why do we love pinball. So that's what I'm going to be going over in this video. So before I give you the 5 pinball machines, let me preface this by stating that in no way, shape, or form am I saying that these 5 machines are like the best machines or anything like that. This is just the 5 machines that for whatever reason, I really enjoy. And whether they are in my lineup or if I go to an arcade and I see these games, chances are I'm going to be very encouraged to play a game or two on them. So I put out a notification on my community page on YouTube asking those of you to basically take a wild guess at what my top 5 are. And I was going through a couple of them. I'll show the final results here of who won. But I know a number of you definitely pointed out a few that is currently in my lineup. And yes, there are a number on this list that are in my lineup, but there are a couple that are not. And I don't know if we have anybody that's a direct winner. But I know there's a bunch of you that tied pretty damn close. And let me also state that these machines are not going to be in any kind of direct order. Okay, so this one that I'm going to start with first does not mean it's better than the previous one. These are just 5 machines that I really enjoy playing. And there's going to be a number of machines that you're going to be like, Cary, why didn't you put this one on here? And spoiler alert, Godzilla is not on my list, guys. Granted, yes, I have played it and I did enjoy it, but I haven't put enough on this game to really say for sure that this is in my top 5. Just being real. Every game that I have on this list, I've played a lot of. So I know for sure that these are games that I thoroughly enjoy. And I have not put a lot of games on Godzilla. So without further ado, let's start with number 5. Total Nuclear Annihilation. This game came at me very surprisingly because I remember first seeing this and I saw that it was a single level game, and I immediately thought this game is just not going to do well. It's not going to sell just by the aesthetics. I'm like, no way, this simple game, it's not going to be fun. And whenever it came to Texas Pinball Festival, that particular year is whenever the co-op had really just released that weekend. And that is probably one of my favorite Texas Pinball Festivals due to this game. I had so much fun playing cooperatively with 3 other people on this game. The sound system, just knowing that the game itself, the rules are simple, but it's still a very difficult game, and essentially that you can beat it. I just really enjoy playing this game solo, but it's even better cooperatively. Moving on to number 4, Foo Fighters. This should be no surprise. Obviously, I went and sprung and got the premium on this game. And again, this was a game, initially when I heard that Jack Danger was doing Foo Fighters, I'm like, okay, I'm a big fan of Foo Fighters. I love their music, so I'm sold on that. But chances are, I was expecting it to be a safe layout. Fan, something of that nature, because this was his first Cornerstone, so I thought he was going to play it safe. And I was expecting to not be impressed, honestly. So when we start getting the teasers showing off the aliens, and it had a little bit of, Attack from Mars vibe to it, I was already interested at that point. Then you throw in the gameplay layout, I was blown away. I was like, I already like what I see. I'm loving, and you're going to notice this by my list, I like shots that go across the playfield. I am not a big fan of fan layouts, so up and down the playfield, not so much. They're nice, but if you throw in a combination of a left to right shot, that really does pique my interest. And this game really shines in that nature with repetitive loop shots above the playfield. On the upper section, if you have the premium, the upper playfield has repeatable loop shots, 2 of them, as well as repeatable shots down below. So needless to say, Mr. Danger, you definitely flew past my expectations on what you're going to bring to the table, and I'm honestly looking forward to what you're going to do next. Number 3, The Shadow. This game is one I remember the first time also playing at a Texas pinball festival. I remember watching the movie whenever I was younger, and overall the movie was kind of, didn't really care about it, but when I played this game, it was an instant hit for me. I love the layout. I love the ability to control the daggers on the ramps, on which direction I want to go. You giving me, the player, an option and being able to control that. That's just something I really loved. And then the upper playfield, I thought that was simple yet still challenging to keep it up there. And the whole sanctum shot, the magnet, how it basically just looks like it sucks the ball in, little stuff like that. I thought that was things at the time that I hadn't seen before. But even though I've seen a number of cool things since then, this game still speaks to me, and every time I see it somewhere on location, I'm definitely going to be throwing quarters into it or playing it. I would love to have this game in my collection one day. Mr. Brian Eddy, please change up the fan layout that you've been doing and give us another Shadow. Please. I know you can do it. You've proven it before. Let's see it again. Moving on to number 2, and that is Jurassic Park. Now, obviously, I feel like if you do not have Jurassic Park on your top 5 list, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I would like to know why you don't have Jurassic Park on your list. And it could be the same as me, where I don't have Godzilla. Maybe you don't have enough games on it. But Jurassic Park for me was another one of those games that I fell in love with by watching the stream alone. Just the way it shot, the left to right shot, the loop shot, how it sounded when you had the music, like movie theme going on there, the John Williams score, I thought that was definite plus on there. It's like, yeah, the art is kind of iffy for me, but I look past it because I really enjoy the layout and the way this game plays. I cannot get enough of it. And it's one of those games that I was going after, and I finally was able to get it, and I don't think I'm going to be letting this game go unless, Elwin, you bring out another game that just makes this game look horrible. And it also helps that my daughter is a huge Jurassic Park fan. So knowing that I was going to be able to make her ecstatic by bringing in a theme into this house that she loves, I mean, it was an easy, yeah, I'll trade my turtles for this. Yeah, no problem. Moving on to number 1, Deadpool. This game, guys, and especially just to really confirm my feelings, by writing this list within the last day or so, I've been putting even more games on Deadpool just to really confirm how I feel about it. And like, I feel like this is like Gomez's best yet. I mean, not to say that, you know, his other games are bad, but this game right here, I just really love. And granted, I only have the Pro, and I really need to play the premium to really determine if I need to upgrade to that. But the Pro, I feel like, shoots so good. Like, almost every shot has a sense of kinetic satisfaction, if you like successfully make it, that is. And you can see that Foo Fighters definitely takes a little bit away from Deadpool when it comes to the trajectory of the ball, how you shoot onto the right side of the play field, the game directs the ball to the left, and then it directs it to the right again into the katana. I mean, the snick shot is probably one of the most satisfying shots in the game, obviously, but loading that katana up is like just very satisfying. Every shot feels good, and the music and the call-outs are just stacking on top of how well it shoots, and I thoroughly enjoy it. So as of right now, definitely Deadpool is on the top 5 for me. So there is my current top 5 pinball machines. And the next question is, why pinball? And for those of you out there that watch my content on the regular, my answer to this should be expected. And that is that it's not digital. I have been in the hobby for 12 years, and my appreciation for it grows more and more every year. Mainly because our lives are dominated by digital entertainment. Social media, video games, streaming services. And as the years have passed, these services have become so ingrained and we depend on them so heavily just to keep us from being bored. And what's even more sad is the content that we're spending so much time to seek out has become so disposable. I mean, how often have you been scrolling through one of your streaming services and you literally have like hundreds of things that you could potentially watch? And as you're probably on the 5 or 10 minute mark of scrolling through, you basically say to yourself, there's nothing to watch. And this reminds me of being a kid, going into the refrigerator and the pantry and seeing all kinds of food, but it required like effort on my end to make it like edible, you know, mix ingredients and cook and stuff. But yet I would still tell my mom, there's nothing to eat. I go to restaurants with my family, I take a look around the place, and I see so many people looking down at their phones or their tablets instead of having a conversation with the people that are around them. And they even have like these display games at certain establishments to give to your children or to yourself to keep you entertained. Otherwise, the chances are you're going to be hearing there's nothing to do. Every day, multiple notifications go off on my phone. And I hear them, and I'm expecting / hoping that maybe it's an individual trying to reach out to me. But instead, it's merely an application on my phone that's just wanting me to look at something. Whether it be Instagram, Facebook, whatever, it's like my phone might as well just be screaming, look at me, look at me. Our phones are essential, and I'm okay with that. But I'm not okay with the way entertainment is these days. It's oversaturated, mostly garbage, and it has caused our attention spans to become so short that it's like nothing's ever enough. Do you think I started this 2-camera setup because the left side of my face is my best feature? No. It's to help with retention. And that's also why I've got B-roll footage rolling through this entire video, because I know that if it's just me on the screen through the entire thing, a majority of the audience will not like the fact that there's just an image or a static image of me for too long. They'll get bored and they'll find some other content that's a little more stimulating. Technology has become a blessing, but also a curse. And this is one of the reasons why I choose pinball. It's mechanical. I can touch it. I can own it. You cannot beat that feeling of accomplishing a goal within a game that you just performed using skill. Hearing the ball roll up a ramp, down a wire form, or that precious sound of nailing a scoop. Every time I push that start button on one of my games, I know that I am guaranteed to have a different experience every time. Now, sure, not every game out there is good to me, but that doesn't mean that others out there won't appreciate or even love that particular game. I'm very thankful for having the luxury of having all these games within my house. And granted, not all the games I have are winners to some people. And that's okay. Thankfully, there are so many options out there at arcades. But pinball is also an escape. Not just from the screen that we constantly hold in our hands on a daily basis, but I think through life as well. You have a bad day. You're going through a breakup. God forbid you lose a loved one. Whether it be you tinkering on a machine, cleaning it, restoring it, or just batting the ball around, pinball cannot fix your problems. But it can take your mind off of it, just for a moment. One could even say that it's therapeutic. So we may live in a digital world where people say there's nothing to watch or there's nothing to eat. But I have never heard my kids or anyone else walk into an arcade and say, there's nothing to do.